Look, I don't have to pick those games, so no matter what you call them, they feel like playing games. At least the first four sounds better than the first round, which made no sense at all. So back to the brackets. Now, we have something on the Tom Abraham Show called Dog Law, and these are principles to live by based on my 40-plus years as a red-blooded American adult male. And one of the dog laws applies to making out a bracket, and that goes for the men's or women's tournament, though honestly, the last person I knew that made out a women's bracket will be the next. Okay, so here's the rule. You make out one bracket. Enter it in as many contests as you want, but you have one bracket with one Final Four and one champion. You don't make out different brackets for all the different contests you enter, then run around telling people that you had 3 of the Final Four in your bracket. Make a decision and live with that the rest of the way. Again, enter it in as many contests as you like, but that is it. As Mike Golick used to say, your bracket of integrity. Now, there are various strategies in play when you make this one bracket out. Many will go right from the first game and work their way through each region. This is a sound principle and may result in a few surprises along the way that you did not anticipate. Others will look at the regions as a whole, pick the Final Four, and then back into the rest of the bracket. Also not a terrible plan. Finally, don't be that guy who picks all the 12s to beat the 5s and then run around telling everyone how you nailed that 12-5 upset. Your bracket is busted. By the way, have you gotten your bracket into our 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bracket Challenge presented by Talent Heating and Air? Do it today.
Listen for Tom Abraham throughout the day on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Championship presented by Capital One. Tips tonight on the networks of ESPN.
The decisive battle.
So one of the biggest football matches in the world.
The reigning champs, Real Madrid, versus the league leaders, FC Barcelona.
One of the biggest rivalries.
A champion will rise.
Lewandowski!
This is everything. This is El Clasico.
Benzema!
FC Barcelona, Real Madrid. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and ESPN.
This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Welcome, everyone. And this is not Steve Moulton. He's been in the state of Florida with the University of Alabama Huntsville Chargers, who fell just short, got to the Sweet 16, lost to the best team in the country yesterday on the road in the Shark Tank as Nova Southeastern got it done 87-62. But a great run for John Shulman and the boys as they once again nearly go to the national tournament. Mark Camara here as we are at the Furniture Factory. Not on Tuesday. We waited till Wednesday this week. But we are here at one of our great sponsors, and we're going to bring you 2 hours of great sports talk. We're going to talk to Corey Reamer about 5:40, talk some Alabama football with one of the great linebackers of the Saban era. He was a key cog in the first national championship team in 2009. Also does a lot of the reaction show on Mondays with Roger Hoover that you hear each and every Monday in the recap show, the Crimson Tide recap program during football season. So we're going to catch up with Corey, get his thoughts. It's hard to believe year 17 about to start for Nick Saban as they take to the practice field for their first spring practice on Monday when everybody gets back from spring break. And we're going to talk to him. And then Bobby Champagne, former UNA head coach, but now a key cog in the staff of Kelvin Sampson. Kelvin Sampson and Houston are in Birmingham as they are the number 1 seed in the Midwest region, and they will take to the floor tomorrow as they are looking to get back to the Final Four. And many people have them as the betting favorite to win the national championship, and if they reach the Final Four, it will be in their backyard in Houston. And I know Wes Neighbors is with me. And Wes, I got to tell you that I've got Alabama and Houston in the final game. It's going to be really, really, really interesting to see if that comes to pass.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so you said you had Alabama, Houston. We were getting a little reverb there.
Yeah.
So I have Alabama and Connecticut.
Yeah, a lot of people like Connecticut. I mean, they're kind of not a sleeper, but they're a 4 seed. But a lot of people like them a lot. Alabama actually played them over in Portland.
And got beat by them,
82-67. Took a whipping after they beat Michigan State, and before they beat North Carolina in 4 overtimes. So Danny Hurley's got a good team, and of course Danny Hurley. Here's another. That would be a very interesting final because Danny Hurley basically recommended Nate Oates to Bobby Hurley and got him his big break in college coaching. So that would be a very interesting rematch. Of course, if my prediction comes true, that rematch would be Alabama and Houston. That was played earlier this year in Houston as well, with Alabama winning that game.
So is it at the same venue?
No,
different venue, right?
Much bigger. In the Final Four, West is going to be in a big arena. Where you can seat 30,000 people. It's not going to be Houston's gym seats 7,000.
How much does Bridgestone seat? Which is where they just got through playing, right?
I want to say a little over 12.
So this is a huge.
Oh, yeah.
That causes shooting problems, right?
It can with a backdrop. Yeah, these Final Four venues now are more in NFL type stadiums,
right?
And so that's kind of where you stand, and and so it's crazy the way they want to do it now, but it's all about money and tickets because ironically they used to be on college campuses. In 1985, one of the great upsets that ever happened when you're talking about the Villanova and Georgetown, where Villanova had lost to Georgetown twice during the regular season. That Final Four was in Lexington, Kentucky at Rupp Arena. So, but they don't really do that anymore. They'll play it on college campuses in the first couple of rounds, but the Final Four itself is always at huge venues.
Well, it's I don't like it when it's in a huge stadium like that.
Right.
To me, I love it. 15. I thought Bridgestone was perfect for, and I would think Bridgestone would be a little bigger than that though, because of the Predators.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my opinion because I think that when you have a crowd close to the court, it makes it a lot better game.
Oh, it does. It's very exciting, and I've always liked Bridgestone Arena and the atmosphere. And actually, here's the surprise. I just Googled it because it didn't look like that many people to me, but you could fit in it, Wes. But it's listing the capacity at 20,000. That's pretty crazy. Cause,
at Bridgestone. Yeah, I thought it was bigger than 12.
Yeah, because you were there.
I was there, yeah. And I think that's the perfect size. 20,000, even more than that is, to me, it takes away from the game atmosphere when you're there. That's just my opinion. But as far as anybody can win this tournament. I mean, they were like, I guess Houston was the favorite in Vegas. Alabama was second. But that UConn was in there, of course. and there were a couple others. It was interesting to me, and it's all about matchups, and then you got to look at injuries too, right?
Yeah.
So is Sasser going to be okay?
We'll see.
The capacity at NRG Stadium is 72,220. That's what I'm talking about. It's too big.
I can't believe
they'll
they're
have
going to allow. Yeah.
They'll have to put bite drops and all that. And it takes away from the atmosphere. That's just. I think they're. I would love if the finals were played on a neutral site, but not at a 72,000 seat stadium. I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's
because obviously it's going to be. They can't seat 72 because they wouldn't be able to see the game.
Wow. They're actually going to try to get 71,000 people.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, I even Googled it. I wanted to find out what the capacity.
Yeah, but if you go to a game and you're at the top of that stadium, you're not going to see anything. You'd be like, you
can barely see it with binoculars.
I know it. That's just crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. If it wasn't for a media credential, I wouldn't go. If I were covering it, I mean,
now you'd have to have good tickets for.
Yeah, if you had to go.
How much are those going to cost? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's already enough about what the tickets are going for in Birmingham.
Yeah, I'm hoping that. Yeah, well, if Alabama and Auburn are both in the finals, it'll stay that way. Tickets to be hard, but if Alabama, Auburn, one of the two aren't in the finals, then there'll be tickets.
Yeah, there'll be tickets.
So, but I think Auburn's a 1-point favorite, and I don't know what's the favorite. 24-point favorite.
Yeah. So, and they both had an open practice today. Auburn first, and then Alabama, and both teams spoke to the media, and it's going to be crazy. I'm personally happy because it's great for the state of Alabama, and that there's a lot of demand. I have friends that aren't going just simply because they're worried that the tickets are expensive, and they're hard to come by, and I knew they would be when Alabama went to Birmingham, but when Auburn was added, I was like, which never went through my mind, but I was like, wow, when they allowed Auburn to play in Birmingham, it is going to be. I knew it was going to be really difficult except for the few that they set aside for the traveling parties for Texas A&M Corpus Christi now, and the few they give to each team like Iowa, no doubt. But I knew that the tickets were going to be hard to come by.
No question.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's going to be very, very difficult to come by, and Keith Neighbors bringing us some food here. Wes is going to have a chance to chow down, and so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's no doubt about it. And as we said, the Auburn is in the Midwest region. They are going to be playing, and they'll get the winner of Houston and Northern Kentucky. Houston's got to be heavily favored there. I've got Houston as a Final Four team. I love what they're about. I love Kelvin Sampson.
Is Sasser 100% though?
I don't think he will be, but at least the first game. But I don't think they'll need him against Northern Kentucky, but they'll certainly need him against the winner of Iowa and Auburn. And it'll be interesting to see how close to 100% he is when he looked like he tweaked a groin. And I guess,
but it's the way they played without him was surprising to me.
And they lost to Memphis. Yeah, they did not play well.
They got killed by Memphis
in the conference championship game. They had beaten Memphis twice during the regular season. They didn't react well when Sasser got hurt, and Sasser was hurt last year down the stretch. So they definitely need him for the game. There's no doubt about it. Well, you can give us a call, 256-576-4977, as we are here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. As we just been looking at some photos here of Alabama as they were practicing on the court today with the open practice that all fans could attend, and some of my friends did go to Birmingham and attend the open practice. It was, I want to say it was 1:15 to 1:55, about 45 minutes that they opened it up for fans for Alabama to work out. But all the teams worked out, and so they all allowed all of them to. So now we're going to go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We got Philip waiting on line one. Philip, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good, sir.
Hey, Drudy, I wanted to ask you something. I think about 4 guys, I guess that graduated, and I think 1 or 2 guys, I think one opted to go to the NFL from Alabama. Have you got, pretty much who are the new guys are going to probably end up being or who'll be taking their spots.
Are you talking about like in the secondary, or what specific positions?
Well, I guess it would probably be it could be secondary or defensive backs.
Well, I think it's pretty wide open. I'm hearing that Malachi Moore has moved to safety from star, and that may be because of Caleb Downs. We'll see. But there's going to be a lot of competition because Alabama doesn't have anybody coming back at both either free or strong safety with DeMarco Helms and Jordan Battle moving on. Certainly, and the star position with Brian Branch. All three of those guys moved on to the NFL, so there's going to be a lot of competition at those three spots. I think they, and as we all know, Eli Ricks left to go pro at one of the corner spots, but Terrion Arnold played there some last year. He could move to star. We'll see, how that goes. Kool-Aid McKinstry had a really good sophomore year. He should be entrenched in one of the corner spots. But there's going to be a lot of competition in the secondary. There's going to be a lot of competition at middle linebackers. Jalen Moody and Henry Toa moved on, so there's going to be a lot of young guys. And Trez Marshall from Georgia coming in. And they got a new position coach in Robert Bala, so we will see. But there's going to be a lot of competition in the defense because there was so much experience back last year, Philip. Now there's losses. Byron Young gone on the D-line, DJ Dale. So there's a lot of competition in the D-line room, in the linebacker room, and the secondary. And don't forget at outside backer, you lose a guy like Will Anderson. So Alabama's got a lot of holes to fill defensively.
What do you think about that kid, Jeremiah Alexander? I know there's been a lot of hype about him, I've heard.
Yeah, I mean he's from 5-star from Thompson High School. Certainly, he's a guy that's gonna definitely compete for playing time. He could play inside or out. I've heard that Sean Murphy, they're going to give him a long look. Jihad Campbell inside. Don't forget about Kendrick Blackshire. He's another young player that needs to show some progress, no doubt about it. Also, they've got a junior college player inside, Justin Jefferson, extremely fast, sideline to sideline. It's probably going to depend on his mental retention, what he can do. And remember, they've still got guys returning at outside backer, Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell, Keanu Coote. Guys like that. Keanu didn't play last year, but he's still a very talented player. And the guy you just mentioned, Jeremiah Alexander. So there's going to be a lot of competition in that linebacker room, both inside and out, as they try to rebuild that. Coleman Hutzel looks like he's returning as the position coach there at outside backer. But again, a new guy inside, and then a defensive coordinator in Kevin Steele now making $1.9 million, who's going to kind of oversee everything.
I'm glad Kevin Steele. I'm glad, since we couldn't get Jeremy, I'm glad we got Kevin Steele. I hope he'll hang around for a while, I hope,
Well, he signed a 3-year contract, I believe, so we will see. And then Jeremy's situation is still murky because of the NCAA deal, even though that certainly hasn't hurt Western Union, a.k.a. Will Wade, from getting another job at McNeese State. He's been suspended for the first 5 games next year, but certainly McNeese State hired Will Wade. We've seen, the checkered path to Hugh Freeze. He's hired at Auburn, but Jeremy Pruitt seems to be kind of radioactive right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, one more quick thing right quick. I was reading today that Alabama's spring game's not going to be televised. It'll be on live streaming, but they decided to go with Colorado and Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll just say this, Philip. If you want to see the spring game, you'll be able to see it. I'm sure it'll be put on some platforms, even if it's after the fact. And then it'll be replayed on the SEC network ad nauseum probably 55 times before the opening of fall practice. And you'll be able to listen to it, more importantly, here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone, as Chris Stewart will bring you that action.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good evening, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate Philip for joining us. We need to go on our first break, and we come back more from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill here in Meridianville, on Meridian Street here.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
With over 100 F-150s to choose from and available financing as low as 0%, now is the perfect time to put one in your driveway. It's Truck Month at Woody Anderson Ford. Hi, Bobby White back again, inviting you to come on in for the best selection of F-150s we've had in a while. And if you find one that you like, there is no payment for 90 days. Also, during Truck Month, not only do you get 0% financing for up to 36 months, but we've also got 2.9% financing for 5 years on remaining 22 models with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. This offer ends April 4th. And don't forget, we make it really easy for you to trade in and trade up on a Ford Blue Advantage Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned vehicle. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you take it home with a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Hurry on in for Truck Month. 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and over 100 F-150s to choose from.
When was the last time you changed the oil in your car? You probably know the answer to that without having to think too hard. When was the last time you had your home's air conditioning system checked? If the answer is, I've never done that, you should listen to the rest of this commercial. Your home's heating and cooling system is very likely the most expensive appliance you have. You've got your refrigerator, your washer and dryer, your TV, and other electronic devices. None of these items come close to the investment you have in your home's heating and cooling system. And what's even more startling is your home's comfort system uses more energy than all of your other appliances combined. Become a member of the Environmental Comfort Systems Comfort Care Club, and we'll make sure your home's comfort system is operating the way it's supposed to. Give Environmental Comfort Systems a call today. We are your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Visit our website at envcomfort.com. Alabama license number 92314. Environmental Comfort Systems. That's envcomfort.com.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
What does it say here? Bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive and get protection round the clock. You know what? I'm sorry. I think it should be around. What are you signaling? Me to stop talking? Oh, all right. I'll stop talking. No. Just had to tell me, that's all you had.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Welcome back to the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. In about 20 minutes or so, we're going to be joined by Corey Reamer of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. But before that, we're going to continue to take your calls at 256-576-4977. And we are going to go out to the phone lines. And as we said, we are at the Furniture Factory, our great sponsor here on Meridian Street. Great food, great atmosphere, great televisions as we are watching some of the tip-off show before the first 5 gets underway. First 4 is the first 4 of the second 2 matchups. We had 2 yesterday, 75-71 Texas A&M Corpus Christi wins. They will face Alabama tomorrow at 1:45. The other win was by Pitt. They defeat Mississippi State 60-59, and so Pitt moves on to face Iowa State in a 6-11 matchup. And so we'll have 2 more games tonight as Arizona State is set to take the floor under Bobby Hurley. They've got a very interesting matchup as well. And then, of course, Texas Southern, they've been a kind of a fixture in this game because They are from the SWAC, and Johnny Jones has done a really good job building on what Mike Davis, Alabama alum, had done, getting that program to a lot of relevant basketball games, no doubt about it. And so Fairleigh Dickinson and Texas Southern will start. Texas Southern's a 3-point favorite, and that will be at 5:40 on True TV. And then tonight, it'll be Steve Alford in Nevada against Bobby Hurley in Arizona State. So they don't really count the first 4 games in the brackets, and thank goodness they don't, because I would have blown them both, because I picked Mississippi State and Southeast Missouri. But that happens tonight. I've got Arizona State and Texas Southern. I saw Texas Southern against Samford earlier this year. They got a lot of athletes. We'll see how they do against Fairleigh Dickinson. But we're going to go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Mark's been waiting patiently. Mark, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I've only waited an hour and a half. It's not too bad. No. And I called in at 4 to get on. You guys are, the best radio show in the country. That is a fact.
Appreciate it.
The ratings are out the roof. Hey, is that Wes still there?
I am here.
Hey, yes, I think I'm going to ask you something. Name a game, I'm going to set you up here. That's good. Name a game that Alabama was not favored, but they kicked off. Something happened in the media, or you were not the better team, but because someone ran their mouth, whether it's the other team, coaches, bulletin board material, that it made a difference when you played. You remember that game?
Well, first of all, I had no idea what the line was when I played. And I bet nobody on the, I know one guy maybe knew, and that was it. And he didn't play any. Because when you're playing, that's the last thing on your mind is the line of the game. Now I talk about it so much. So, but I'm trying to think of a game I played in where the other team did a lot of talking. It's not
ringing a bell.
No, so I remember during a game, Southern Miss returned the opening kickoff to the 1 when I was my freshman year, I think. It might have been my sophomore year. And they were talking. And then we stopped them on the 1, and they were talking some mad stuff when they ran out there. And we hadn't even run a play. Anyway, we drove 99 yards to score a touchdown, and I was some defensive back running his mouth. And I probably talked to 5 times during a game to the other team in a disparaging manner ever, and that was one time.
Well, the reason I'll bail you out here, the reason I asked you, I could name, 1992 national championship game, Roosevelt Patterson.
Oh, yeah.
After they called him everything, but I don't know, maybe you can come up with something. And I'm going to lead into the tournament. I know y'all you don't have all day with other people. I think the win 6 straight, which I don't know the last time Alabama, this team has won 6 straight. That'd be a good thing to look up. Last time Alabama, this team has won 6 straight this year. But you got to win 6. You got to win 10, and you got to have a lot of things go for you. I love the fact as an Alabama fan that a lot of people got Alabama winning this thing. I almost feel like, and I don't think it's full anyone. I almost feel like it's like a league horse show is needed here. Not so fast, my friend. Just not that I don't think they can do it. That you've never been there. Kind of like 2009. Took Alabama, beat Texas, kind of break through the Saban era. And I guess, for me, my question is this. Do you think this Miller situation and the fact that the national media is going to continue to fuel this, is this going to be that magic that this team will kind of get them always up to the game, always a chip on the shoulder that failed them to be the champion?
I think that team is a very close team. You watch them warm up, which I never had before. They're a very tight team. Like when I talk, you can tell the team's very close. they had fun warming up. I mean, I've never seen a team have more fun warming up than that team. They're all smiling, laughing. I mean, just, you know, but you can tell they were into the game. But they're relaxed because they know they're good. They know they're good, and they know they have to play hard. And it's reminded to them, I'm going to tell you, Coach Oates is one intense guy. He's intense over there. He is, and they could get beat because, you know, that can happen. But it because of turnovers and not shooting the ball well. It won't be because of the press. Because the press is going to be kind of like, that's not what the reason they'll lose. They'll lose because they didn't play well, but it'll have nothing to do with the press.
And I'll ask you guys this, and I'll hang up. This is the first time since Latrell Sprewell, Robert Ory, maybe James Johnson might have been on that team, Hollywood, I can't remember, smacking bubblegum, hitting threes in the corner. I don't ever remember a team, and Drew, maybe you can go down the lineup. I think there are 8 legitimate players on this team, 8 that I counted. Bediako's the only one that can't. But I think there are 8 players that legitimately have a great shot of making a 3. And I don't know, I'll hang up and listen, but I think you probably could rattle them off pretty quick.
Well, certainly, Mark. We appreciate the phone call. They do have a deep roster, the deepest stuff. That's why I think this is the best Alabama team I've seen. Now, they'll cement that with how they play in March. I mean, it's still to be decided. They've got to go on a run, but certainly Javon Quinley being switched into the starting lineup, it was a great move by Coach Oates. They got him off to better starts offensively. JQ has got his juice back, his first step. He can break guys down off the dribble. He can shoot the 3. He's very capable. Mark Sears didn't have a great shooting SEC tournament, but he is very, very capable. And
having 2 guys handle the ball to break down the defense and the presses and all the things, and to be able to share that with other guys coming off the bench. And even now, they're putting a lot of pressure on defenses by getting the ball to Brandon Miller earlier. Getting him to him where he takes, a lot of times he's taking it over the inline. And listen, if we saw his dunk in that game, and they got overloaded to one side and look out. And then he's the best passer out of all of them. So
nice, definitely.
I mean, so to me, they have the opportunity to be the best team ever. Are they the best team ever? As Drew said, March makes that decision. Has nothing. All they've done now is win the Southeastern Conference. They're a good, very good team. I don't think if they don't win it all, that wipes that out. They've been one of the funnest teams I've ever watched. I actually got to finally go to a game, and but it was awesome. I mean, just what an experience. So I hope I get to go to another one before the year's over. That's all it has to do with who's in and where and what's going on. But if I can do it, I'll be at more basketball games this year.
No doubt about that. I think there's that everybody's looking forward to the run. Certainly, it's a team when you look at the way it's built. They know, and they're very comfortable in their own skin because Brandon is a perfect fit for the system. You heard what Wes said. He can dribble, pass, shoot. He can do it all. He's an underrated defender. He can also, but I do think that Noah Clowney is probably the best all-around player on the team, just simply because he's got 7'4" wingspan.
He's just not, and he gets better every game. Yeah. He didn't have a good game against South Carolina. He seems to be, I don't know if he was tired or what. He looked like he had a bigger bounce, got into foul trouble this last game. But it's just the whole everything. I think Clowney's found a place where he feels comfortable. He's out there. If you overplay him, he comes inside, he'll dunk on you. I mean, everybody's kind of got their role now and understand where they fit into this offense. And again, if they have 2 or 3 people making the threes, I don't think anybody can touch them. Now, we know that hadn't been the case the last 10, 11 games, that they've struggled shooting the ball. But they've been able to find ways to win all but 1 or 2 of those. And I think that makes them better as a team overall, because they know that different ways they have to do to win these games. So,
yeah, and I think one of the strengths of the team too is they can play both ways. They can play fast, like they did against Texas A&M when they scored 82. They slowed it down a little bit against Mizzou because Mizzou was a really good up-tempo team. And Wes, it goes back to what you were talking about Noah Clowney and Noah Gurley, who was an unsung hero in there. But they did a great job defending Kobe Brown, who Kobe, of course, is from here, one of the top 5 players.
Absolutely,
in the SEC.
yeah.
And they held him. He had given Tennessee 24 the day before. He ends up only giving Alabama 6 points and 7 rebounds. And so Alabama did a tremendous job of defending him and giving themselves a good chance to pull away from Missouri late.
There's no question about that.
Yeah, no question. Absolutely not. So that's some good stuff right there. And I think Alabama, they're a 24-point favorite against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Certainly it's the Islanders' first ever trip to the NCAAs in the main bracket. They were in the first 4 a year ago. They lost to Texas Southern, I believe. And now this time they get the win over Southeast Missouri. So it's already for them the best year in school history. And certainly they're going in with house money, going to attack Alabama. No question about that. And they're looking forward to that challenge. But again, we've got another couple of minutes. If you want to give us a quick call, 256-576-4977. As we're going to take a break here in a couple of minutes, and Corey Reamer of the Crimson Tide Sports Network is going to join us. Nick Saban's squad, they are going to be taken to the field on Monday for his beginning of his 17th spring practice at Alabama, which is nuts. I can remember when he was hired, so it's hard to believe it's already been 17 years. And probably going into a spring, Wes, this is probably as many questions as we've had about this team in a long time about establishing themselves because they lost a lot of star power on both sides of the ball. Usually it's one side of the ball or the other, but there's a lot of questions heading into
Well, I mean, obviously that safety and you look at the middle of your defense, they lost a lot of guys in the middle. From the defensive linemen inside and also inside the defense, the 2 linebackers and then the 2 safeties. And that's a lot to replace, because if you make a mistake at one of those positions, it's a big play and could be a touchdown if the safeties aren't in the right spot. So, they got a lot of work to do now. They have a lot of talent. They've recruited a lot of talent, and it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be the quarterback and who's going to be the linebackers to me. To me, that tells that this team actually contends for a championship, so either that be the conference or the national. Either one is because how those guys are replaced and then how they develop during the year.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, Corey Reamer going to join us here live at the Turkey Factory Bar and Grill here on Meridian Street.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
With over 100 F-150s to choose from and available financing as low as 0%, now is the perfect time to put one in your driveway. It's Truck Month at Woody Anderson Ford. Hi, Bobby White back again, inviting you to come on in for the best selection of F-150s we've had in a while. And if you find one that you like, there is no payment for 90 days. Also, during Truck Month, not only do you get 0% financing for up to 36 months, but we've also got 2.9% financing for 5 years on remaining 22 models with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. This offer ends April 4th. And don't forget, we make it really easy for you to trade in and trade up on a Ford Blue Advantage Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned vehicle. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you take it home with a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Hurry on in for Truck Month. 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and over 100 F-150s to choose from.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions? Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on IOPServicesLLC.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. By mid-March standards, it's going to be another chilly day across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, though. That'll be nice. Temperatures, though, only climbing into the mid-50s, dropping into the mid and upper 30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Not going to be a terrible morning, but you're definitely going to need a jacket. Looks like we'll be talking about more cloud cover through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures, though, actually back into the low and mid-60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back to the Furniture Factory here on Meridian Street as we are having our Wednesday edition of The Drive. I'm Drew DeArmond in for Steve Moulton. Wes Neighbors here has been here with me. We're efforting to reach Corey Reamer of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He does Crimson Rewind each Monday during the football season, does a great job recapping the Crimson Tide. He was a key cog in Nick Saban getting this dynasty started as he was a starter on the 2009 National Championship team. He was a Hoover Buccaneer. He was one of the guys that kind of set the foundation. He made the transition from Mike Shula, who recruited him, to Nick Saban, and they reestablished the program as one of the best in college football and started a dynasty that really has redefined the sport. Both for Alabama and the Southeastern Conference. But Corey Reamer has been good enough to join us, and we're going to talk some Alabama Crimson Tide football as we look ahead to Nick Saban's 17th spring practice. And Corey Reamer was there for the first one, and he's now with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Corey, you're with Drew DeArmond and Wes Neighbors. How are you, sir?
Hey, guys, I'm doing great. How about y'all?
Doing good, Corey. How was that first practice? What was it? I mean, what was the difference? What was the difference there?
Well, I think the good thing was the fourth quarter program, right when he showed up, and he just had changed the culture. Immediately you could tell the difference we were trying to accomplish there. Just a different mindset of what it takes to be the program that's built up today. It's just the attention to detail. And I joke all the time, the fourth quarter program these days is probably just a few weeks long. That first year that we were there, when we went through the fourth quarter program, I think it was a total of about 6 weeks. And they put us to the gauntlet. They were there to figure out who's here to play, who can we rely on, who's going to go out there and work hard, what kind of mindset does this team have. And it took 6 weeks to figure that out. And then we also started installing defenses and offenses at that point too, and it was just a grind. I mean, now it's 2 weeks long for the fourth quarter program. Imagine going for 6 weeks. And you found out a lot about the guys that you had on your roster at that point. And it was tough. And then you go into spring ball, and then you start seeing some live action, and just the way the practices moved, how fast they were, how fast-paced. There's no time to take a knee, catch your breath. You're always doing something. There's multiple fields going all at once, the efficiency of it all, the amount of stuff that we were able to get done that first spring, and just a 2-hour time frame for spring practice was just incredible. It's just a completely different tone than what we had been used to going into it from previous seasons. So, it's a time. The spring ball is extremely important, especially with so many guys that have departed, and now you're trying to figure out what your team's going to look like for the next year. You got to go out there and figure out who's going to replace all these guys that we lost. You got new faces in the coaching staff, new faces in the players' rooms as well. There's a lot to find out about what the team's going to be about during the spring practice period.
Corey, what's so weird? So, of course, had my son play there under Coach Saban. I would go to his practices, and then I also was there with Coach Bryant. And how similar their practice are is incredible. Coach Bryant was the same way. Hour 45, 2 hours the most. But everybody was moving. You had multiple fields going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's something that I think has just become, the way that they can. You've got such a limited time frame that you can use for these practices, And I don't know what the rules have changed for the NCAA, how much they've changed, but the amount of time that you actually have to spend on the field is very limited. And both coaches, Coach Bryant and Coach Saban, figured out a way to get the most out of the limited time that they had. And I think that just, is an attribute of the success that they were able to have, come the fall, is that while they're out there practicing, everybody's practicing for 2 hours, the time is the same for everybody, but what you're able to get done in those 2 hours, they found out a way to maximize efficiency and get the most reps for everybody, to where when the games come, they're ready to go. There was no stone unturned. They were able to go through all the different scenarios that come up during games that a lot of teams might not think about or have time to practice for.
Well, I'm pretty sure, Corey, that all the rules they have now were because of Coach Bryant.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure Coach Saban fights them tooth and nail. He's trying to get more time to spend with his players because he knows how important preparation is to be able to have success, especially with how offenses and defenses have evolved over the years.
So
prepare.
There's no question. And now though they get a whole month, I think, to do walkthroughs before spring training, which I didn't know to just recently. Yep. That has to help on everything.
And that was one thing that I think was a huge difference for us when Coach Saban showed up was you've got to be taking mental reps. And, walkthroughs are not full speed, but they're mental reps. And his emphasis was always, if you're standing on the sideline, you've got to be going through those mental reps for the guys that are on the field. You hear the calls, you go out there and you make the reads, and you make the adjustments just like you would be the one that's on the field, because those mental reps are what gets you able to play fast when it's your time to be out there on the field. If you go out there as a player and you're sitting there, you're having to think too much of what the call's supposed to be, what the checks I'm supposed to make, where I'm supposed to line up, you're never going to see the field for these coaches that expect so much, like Coach Saban. And the only way to get prepared for that with the limited time that you've got is to take the mental reps and do the walkthroughs and be focused in. And it's hard for an 18, 22-year-old to be standing on the sideline, shooting the breeze with his boys, drinking some, getting some water, taking a break to be fully engaged. But that's what separates the guys that end up starting on Saturdays versus the guys that are, the backups that never see the field.
And we're talking to Corey Reamer, former University of Alabama Crimson Tide linebacker, 2009 national champion. And you have another unique perspective because he's in his third tenure now with Alabama, but he was the defensive coordinator and then assistant head coach for defense, Kevin Steele, during your time at the university. I know he's very familiar with what Nick Saban wants. I know defensively they weren't satisfied with where they were last year. They didn't feel like that. I think they were consistent enough, and I think they want to get back to being more physical. But what does Kevin Steele bring to the table in your mind after you had a chance to play for him?
Yeah, I think you just hit it on the head. I think what we wanted to see, and a lot of fans were dying to see us get back to, was just be, that physical presence on defense. And last year, we had all the tools that were on the field. There was so much talent on that roster that was out there for us on defense, and for whatever reason, it just never seemed like we were able to go out there and get the stops when we needed them the most. And that's what I think led to a lot of the games being a lot closer than we thought they would be. Texas game, I was able to call the sideline for that game, and it just didn't feel like the talent discrepancy was pretty great. And we should have been able to pull away and get stops when we needed to. We just couldn't find that. We just didn't have that last year. You bring a guy like Kevin Steele in who's been around this program. There's a lot of familiarity with the lingo, how Coach Saban likes to coach, what he expects out of his defenses. And you've got offenses that can go out there and score 50 points. You've got to have a defense that can hold them to 49 to win ball games. And that's a crazy thing for us to talk about how much it's changed from when I was there in 2009 to what defenses look like today. But I think what you're going to see out of Kevin Steele is bringing that physical mentality, going out there and playing with your ears pinned back, having fun, playing fast. That's the way you get stops on defense. That's the way you create turnovers. We're used to seeing these defenses that under Coach Saban that are able to go out there and create turnovers. That was one of the main things that his defenses were always good at, and we just didn't have that last year. And I fully expect Coach Steele to be able to go turn that around for us this year. And really just go out there and play free. If you got guys that are out there thinking too much, they can't play fast, that means you can't get off the field. And I think that Coach Steele does a great job relating to his players, explaining what it is that we're trying to do in each defensive call that we've got out there, where they can just go play and not think too much. And I think that's going to be a huge contributing factor to us going out there and getting causing some 3 and outs and also creating some turnovers and giving the ball back to the offense to go put some points on the board.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a huge key for Alabama. And Corey, I was making this kind of comparison, but of course you guys had to establish yourselves, and there was so much competition going on in that first spring. And you talked about the 6 hours of, a day of the fourth quarter program, and just how, or the 6 weeks, 6 weeks, that it was so much longer than the 2 weeks it usually is. It was 3 times as long to kind of weed everybody out. But this is probably the most questions heading into a spring on both sides of the ball in the same year that we've seen under Nick Saban in quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we've had this many departures, and not only just departures, but we've also got new coaching staff in place. You got an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator that are coming in. Obviously, we just talked about the familiarity that we've got with Kevin Steele, but Tommy Rees coming in as the offensive coordinator, and he's got to come in. He's replacing a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. He's got a lot of positions on that offense that he's going to have to go in there and figure out who's going to be the guy that steps in for some of these pieces that we're losing that were critical pieces. And on both sides of the football, it's going to be a lot of figuring out who's the guy that's going to step in and take the places of some of these guys. It's not going to be easy for anybody. But I think that's great. We've got the amount of competition that we've got in all these positions as well. There's a lot of good young faces that are coming in. And it's going to be interesting to see what style of offense we're going to have from Tommy Rees. We saw what he did at Notre Dame. We saw how he utilized the tight end. And we've got the transfer from Maryland coming in that was a very athletic, big body, likes to block, but is also a capable pass catcher that's going to be out there. How is he going to utilize that in a position that we have, we like to see being utilized, especially in today's college football. But it's going to be a lot of learning about the two of them as coordinators, but also these new fresh faces that we're going to have to step up and replace some of these pretty big key elements that we lost last year.
No question, and we are going to relay a hello from a former teammate of yours. Wesley Neighbors is taking a break for spring break. He's back in his hometown of Huntsville, so he says hello, Corey. I'd like to see
what's going on, Wesley.
Yeah, there you go. See who could either you or him who could diagnose as far as if you guys took a test for Saban's defense, who could ace it the quickest.
Yeah, why are you calling me if you've got somebody like Wesley in person?
He won't come on the air.
He's afraid of what's going to be asked.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. Right now he has four of his kids in here, and they're running around in circles. So that's another reason.
Yeah. Good luck. He probably doesn't have time to think about football right now.
No doubt, no question. But Corey, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, especially defensively. We were kind of talking about it before you came on. We were talking about all the questions in the secondary because all the safeties, both safeties gone. The star Brian Branch, who did so much, he's gone. You've got some competition open at one of the corner slots. Kool-Aid really the only guy back. Inside backer, 2 guys gone. The Will Anderson, we know what the effect he had for the last 3 years, and some defensive line losses. What's the biggest question for you defensively going in?
Yeah, you just covered a bunch of them, and I don't even know where to start. I can tell you that, last year the question marks going into last year, even with all that talent that we had, was who's going to be the leader for that defense. Everybody expected Will Anderson to be that guy who's going to step up and play that role. And we know Will Anderson is a phenomenal football player, and he kind of evolved into that vocal leader that you needed on defense. And who's going to be that guy this year? Who's going to be the Henry To'oTo'o that's going to be the play caller, that's going to get everybody lined up and get everybody in place like they're supposed to? But I'm really expecting Dallas Turner to be that presence that we need to kind of establish the tone of what this defense is and set the expectations each day in practice. He's going to be that guy that everybody's looking at. We saw what he was capable of doing last year and the impact that he has on every single game. He's going to have to be that guy that goes out there and make sure that what we're doing is at a high speed. Rolando McClain was that guy for us when I was there. Every practice he demanded high intensity, excellence, focus, all the things that you've got to have to be successful as a defensive unit all together. He was able to be that voice that kind of echoed what Coach Saban and Coach Smart were preaching and getting everybody in line. If we were moving a little bit slow, not as crisp as we needed to each and every practice, he was that guy that held everybody accountable. And now you've lost that Will Anderson who did that for us last year. Who's going to be that guy this year? You got a lot of new faces. You got to develop some continuity between the secondary, the linebackers, and the defensive line. Everybody's got to have faith of who's calling the plays and what we're going out there and doing. If somebody messes up, somebody's got to be that guy that calls them out to get them in line. And that's a huge part of figuring out what your identity is going to be as a defense, is who's that guy that's going to go out there and hold everybody accountable. So there's some good names that are going to be coming back. I know we're replacing a lot. Kool-Aid had a phenomenal year last year, and it's a big position. You're replacing a guy like Eli Ricks, who's going on to the NFL draft. But there's a lot of guys that have a lot of experience that were not starters last year who saw some game time. And that's huge for this upcoming season, have some, being comfortable out there playing at a game speed and knowing what the expectations are from a defensive coordinator standpoint of where you're supposed to be and the calls you're supposed to make. They've had some good leaders that they've learned from for the last couple of years. Now it's their turn to go out there and execute it the way those guys did, and to teach the younger guys that are going to be coming up that might have to fill some roles that they're not sure of at this point early on in spring ball. You never know what's going to happen in the fall from an injury standpoint. So there's a lot of growth that happens between now and August in terms of all that we've been discussing.
So Corey, who's the person? I know leadership-wise, that has to work itself out. But as far as is there a guy that you predict will be one of the guys that will be the guy that they'll lean on defensively this year to be a stopper?
Yeah.
A new face. It's big words, but I think Dallas Turner, the upside of him along with
Braswell,
I think they could be as good as the guy that just left. I mean, I do. I think they have the potential to be there. I don't know about leadership-wise.
Yeah, you're talking about Will Anderson. Yeah.
But they have the potential to be as good a player as he was, to me.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. I think we saw that last year. You know, a lot of focus was on Will Anderson, which only freed up Dallas Turner's opportunity to go out there and make plays. And then you throw in the mix, you start putting in what we call the dime rabbits, and I think they actually called it their cheetah package last year. You bring Braswell in there. You got 3 guys that have top-end speeds that nobody can keep up with rushing the passer. You got 2 of those 3 guys that are coming back this year, and we saw the kind of impact they had on every single game. It's even though it's only 3 guys, it's hard for 5 guys to block those 3 as athletic and skilled as they are. And I think that, you know, when you've got – it's hard to force leadership, especially from a vocal standpoint. It's hard to predict who's going to be that vocal leader because some people are natural at it and some people aren't. You know, 2010 is a perfect example when we had the most talent of any Coach Saban team up until, you know, recently. But the vocal leadership wasn't the same as it had been in the past, even though you had the guys like Dante Hightower, who turned out to be the leader of that defense, but it took him a while to evolve into that role because he had Rolando for 2 years to be that guy for him. So, you know, now that you're losing some of these guys that have been natural vocal leaders or have evolved into that role, it's hard to figure out who's going to be that role. But in terms of going out there and being a leader in terms of how they practice and how they go about their day, whether it's vocal or just through their actions, I think you can't look further than Braswell and Dallas Turner. Those guys go out there and you can tell they play at a high rate of speed and they practice at a high rate of speed, and they set the tone for everybody. And when you've got guys that are high-impact players like both of those guys going out there and setting the tone each and every day during practice, it only brings everybody else up a level, a notch, where they've got to perform at that level or they're going to stick out like a sore thumb. There's nothing that sticks out more than when coaches go back and watch practice tape and you've got half your team out there performing at a high level, and you can see who the guys that aren't giving it much effort at all during practice. And those guys will get weeded out if they're not willing to step it up a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly will.
You know what's amazing now is they put these monitors on them.
Yeah.
And they can tell what their energy level is during a game.
There's no cheating. There's no cheating in this game now. You can sit there and say, hey, I can hide. Maybe I can get away with a little bit, loafing around a little bit. There's no hiding at all now. They've got cameras on everybody. They got all the data in the world to figure out what your exertion was during practice, how fast you were running, and they can kind of measure it on a day-to-day basis. It's like, man, you weren't moving here as fast today as you would have been in the past.
Well, Corey, we appreciate it, brother. You put on the uniform. That's why we love getting your takes on this, especially unique way of being part of the program when Kevin Steele was there in the role of DC the first time, and, of course, being on the first national championship team. We love what you do for the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We hope you can have continued success, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join us this evening.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Roll Tide.
That's Corey Reamer. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to switch gears and talk some basketball. The Houston Cougars are in our state right now. Going to go to take the court in Birmingham, and we're going to talk to a key cog, Bobby Champagne, next here at the Furniture Factory.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the Jets, making that public today on the Pat McAfee Show. To make that happen, though, the Packers and Jets need to work out a trade. Those talks are continuing. ESPN's Diana Rossini.
The thing is, there's no deadline on it. That's where, if you're a Jets fan listening right now and you're excited today, I'm not trying to temper that or rain on it, but there's still work to be done. There's still some layers here, and I'm interested to see how hard Green Bay is going to play ball with the New York Jets here, because I'm not sure if this is a bit of an ugly exit, if you ask me. This was not an exit where we're going to look back on this in the summer or even at the start of the season and say, oh, well, that was a respectful, healthy way to go.
Diana Rossini on Canty and Carlin. The new NFL League year is now officially underway as of a few hours ago. Our Adam Schefter reports quarterback Baker Mayfield will sign a one-year deal worth up to $8.5 million with the Buccaneers. The NBA suspends Ja Morant of the Grizzlies 8 games for conduct detrimental to the league. The suspension includes the games he's already missed, so he could be eligible to play as early as Monday against the Mavericks. Morant met with Commissioner Adam Silver today. He showed a gun at a Denver nightclub almost 2 weeks ago. The first 4 of the NCAA men's tournament wrapping up tonight. Fairleigh Dickinson leading Texas Southern 20-13 early in the first half. And on ESPN, about to tip the women's tournament first 4, Mississippi State against Illinois, the first game on the schedule tonight.
Coming up Thursday, Hall of Fame coach Jim Boeheim joins us at 8:30 to discuss the NCAA tournament, his storied career at Syracuse, and whether he's actually done coaching. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of The Drive. I'm Drew DeArmond with Wes Neighbors, and we've got a very special guest on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. The last time I had a chance to speak with him, with my good partner Scott Tyson, on our morning show Talking Ball, he is just about to he had taken the job at Tharptown High School, but he has moved on up back into the college ranks, and he is the director of basketball strategy for his old boss, Kelvin Sampson, who he had worked for at Washington State and Oklahoma. He is now with the Houston Cougars. They're one of the best programs in America. They are the #1 seed in the Midwest region. They are playing at Legacy Arena tomorrow in Birmingham, Alabama, and he has been good enough to join us as Coach Champagne on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, I'm glad you're back at University of Houston. You guys are rolling. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule. How are you tonight?
Good to hear from you guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, sir. It's great to hear from you. And I know it's a busy time for the University of Houston Cougars, but what a great season for you guys. Came in with a lot of expectations, but certainly lived up to them. I know you didn't win the conference tournament. You guys certainly wanted to get that done, but the injury to Sasser had a lot to do with that. But still a great year for Houston. One of the favorites, maybe the betting favorite to win the national title, but certainly Coach Sampson's done a great job once again building a special culture in Houston. Gone to the Final Four 2 years ago, but what's it been like since October of 2021 being back with him and being a part of this program?
It's been a great ride. Coach is one of the best in the business, and so it's good to be around him. We've got an awesome staff and just great players to be around that work really hard. So, you know, the last 2 years for me has just been great. And, you know, you talk about Sasser's injury and not winning the conference tournament. Yeah, it was a letdown, but we're #1 seed. And, you know, hopefully Sasser's going to be ready to roll tomorrow night at 8:20, and our guys will bounce back from a tough loss against a very good Memphis team. So it was obviously you want to win every game you play, but losing to Memphis, it's not like we lost to a bad team. So it's been a great season.
So obviously a great season, no doubt. So if Sasser plays tomorrow, will he be 100%, you think?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, none of us have been 100% since that doctor smacked you on the butt. We're all slowly degrading. But Sasser works really hard. We've got a great trainer in John Houston, and our guys do everything they can in recovery and taking care of their bodies. So I think he's going to be as good as he can be. At this point in the season, I really don't think anybody's 100%. You know, everybody's played 30, 31, 32, 34 games. Everybody's kind of banged.
Yeah, because there's no doubt about it. I mean, Nate Oates said it himself after the SEC Tournament Championship that Brandon Miller had a groin injury, and so he wasn't quite 100% either. So it's about how tough you are, how tough-minded, and the mental toughness is as much a part of the physical toughness this time of year, in my opinion.
Coach always says, I think we broke the huddle today in the Legacy Arena. What is BJCC, but said toughest team wins, and so we've been pretty tough all season long. Hopefully we can be tougher than Northern Kentucky tomorrow night at 8:20.
What's been the key? You've worked for him 3 different times. He's won at places like Washington State like no one else has. He got Oklahoma to a Final Four. He got Houston to the Final Four back in 2020. But what's been his key to his longevity and his ability to play that kind of tough basketball? I've always said this. I kind of equate it to when I watch Buzz Williams' teams as well. Buzz has a special culture, the way he gets kids to play, and Kelvin Sampson is the same way. They just there's a different kind of grit his teams compete with.
Coach set the standard with everybody in the program, and he lives up to that standard. So everybody just kind of follows suit. But the thing with Coach Sampson, that some people call it hard coaching, some people call it tough love, whatever word you want to use for it. Coach can kick a guy in the rear and pat him on the back, and he knows exactly when to do it and what they need. And that's why you see a guy like J1 Roberts, who last year was kind of a second fiddle, behind the scenes guy, and now he gets 20 rebounds against Memphis. You got a guy like Marcus Sasser, who was not a 5-star, 4-star. I think he was the 399th best high school player coming out of high school, and now he's first-team All-American. Coach knows how to push buttons. The assistant coaches do a great job with player development and getting guys to play to the level that they need to. He demands a lot, but he also gives a lot. So we're going to try and be the toughest team. We're going to try and play the hardest. We're going to try and rebound the ball. We might not shoot it great, but that's not going to matter because we're going to defend and rebound.
No question. I mean, that's what separates Houston. That's what I've said. People have talked about Alabama. What if they have a bad shooting game? I equate the defense and the rebounding as the most important things as to a core for a team, because basketball is a funny game. You're always going to run into a game where you don't shoot it all that well, but if you defend and rebound, you can almost make your own breaks, and you can still continue to advance. And I think that's what's separated Coach Sampson's teams. And you just mentioned Marcus Sasser. You got to have great guard play this time of year, Coach.
Yeah, and we've got 3 really good guards to start for: Shed, Sasser, and Mark. And then we come off the bench with Emmanuel Sharp and Terrence Arsenault, and both of those freshmen have had some big games for us during the year. Jamon Mark and Jamal Shed was first team all league. When everybody's clicking on all cylinders, we're pretty good. I mean, we played Alabama early in the year and got beat at our place, but it was a really good ball game.
It was.
So, yeah, and it'd be kind of interesting that we're here in Birmingham, both number 1 seeds, and then you got another SEC team that's a 9 seed that gets to play about 80 miles from home, so it's kind of interesting.
that is. I heard Coach Sampson talk about that. He was a little bit surprised, I think, but certainly Houston doesn't back down. They don't back down from anyone. And the payoff is if Houston continues to advance, Coach, and I've got you guys in the Final Four. That Final Four is in your backyard in Houston.
Yeah, that's there at NRG Stadium. They've been talking about that all year. I think some of our fans think that because Houston is hosting the Final Four that we're just automatically one of the 4 teams that get in there. We got to beat a couple teams to get there. So first one on the deal is Northern Kentucky, who's been a really good team in the Horizon. So it'll be fun tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a long day, waiting around till 8:20, but it'll be fun to watch the games and get started. Last night's games, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and SEMO were fun to watch.
Yeah, they were. And, Coach, talk about that. You've been through the NCAA tournament. You were for 16 years the coach at UNA. You took teams to postseason. When you have a late tip, how do you kind of handle that kind of long day? When you wake up early, you, of course, have breakfast, then you have a team meal. But talk about having to kind of manage a team for a long day before you play the last game of the day after 8 p.m.
Well, we've been really good on the road in neutral site games. Actually, the Memphis, the finals of the AAC was the first road neutral game that we had lost all season. Before that, we were 11-0 or 12-0 on the road. We have a pretty good system, ritual, whatever you want to call it. We kind of stick to it. Our guys eat well. When you come to the NCAA tournament, things are kind of set. You got to practice at a certain time. You only have a certain time. We went over to Stanford just like I think every other team in the region did. We were sandwiched between Auburn and Alabama today. We'll do something similar to that tomorrow, where we go to Legacy and shoot around for the 20 minutes or 30 minutes that they give us, and then go over to Stanford and kind of go over the scouting report and maybe get a little more detailed with what we're doing. But and then it's kind of 4 hours before the game, get something to eat. 2 hours before the game, ride over to Legacy Arena and watch Auburn and Iowa, and then just get ready to tip it up. 30 minutes, 26 minutes, what do they give us to warm up? So it'll be a fun day, but yeah, it's a long day. And but the good thing is, a lot of our fans that maybe couldn't come over yesterday or today can spend tomorrow traveling, and maybe we'll have a decent crowd where we got some Cougars. We traveled well last year, so hopefully we've got a good crowd tomorrow night.
And we are talking to Bobby Champagne, the head of basketball strategy for the coach Kelvin Sampson, one of the best teams in the country, 31-3 coming in. You talked about Northern Kentucky. Darren Horn, of course, we know he took Western Kentucky, won games in the NCAA tournament. At South Carolina, he didn't have as much success, but he's been here before. What are your impressions of Northern Kentucky as you guys have studied them?
Northern Kentucky's a really good team. They got some guys that can shoot the ball really well. They play a different style defense. The zone is a little bit different than anything that we've seen over the course of the year. Still make some adjustments to that, but should be a good game.
And, Coach, I know it's a little bit different during the NCAA tournament. There's media timeouts are a little bit more extended. Of course, you get your regular timeouts. Does that kind of change your strategy a little bit when you're approaching an opponent, when you might have a couple extra opportunities to talk to your squad?
The timeouts will be 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, basically, the media timeouts are a little bit longer than they are in the regular season. But we play so many games on CBS and ESPN with those long timeouts. We're kind of used to it. The one thing is the guys do get more rest. So, maybe some nights you might shorten the bench or whatever, but you've got some time to rest the guy because those timeouts are so long. Where sometimes you might be taking a guy out right before the media timeout, and they're only getting maybe a minute and a half rest. with this, they're actually getting about 3 or 4 minutes. So your bench must be a little bit shorter. But sometimes you got to figure out what to talk about during those long timeouts. So you run out of things to say.
Well, and Coach, one thing we do know, you guys have one of the best freshmen in the country in Jerace Walker. I think he was the first McDonald's All-American to ever come to the Houston, which has got a storied history in the NCAA tournament. We know about Vice Lamagema back in the day. I mean, those were some of the best teams in college basketball history. How has he developed this year? And I know he's had a lot of veterans like Sasser and Sheed and those guys to bring him along, but how have you liked his development so far?
Yeah, Walker's been great. I mean, he came in the summer like everybody in June, bought into the culture, bought into the work ethic, has gotten better. Obviously, he was freshman of the year, first team All-League, first team All-District in ABC, whatever, probably going to be one of the names called in the NBA draft coming up this summer. Great kid to be around, works really hard. You know, there's been games where he's had a double-double and dominated and really shown why he is in the conversation when the NBA starts talking about lottery picks. And then other nights he's been a freshman. But the one thing is he's always been a great teammate and worked really hard. So it'll be fun to see how, you know, this stage, the NCAA tournament, how he responds. He's always been really good under pressure, so it'll be fun. We've got a good group of guys, man. They work really hard, and they all get along and they pull for each other. You know, Sasser goes down the other night in the semifinal game, and really it was just, you hear it all the time, next man up, but really and truly Jamal Shedd increased his level of play. Reggie Chaney, his senior, increased his level of play, and we were able to win a semifinal game without a first-team All-American out there.
And, Coach, as we wrap it up with you, and we appreciate your time, what's going to be the key to getting off to that good start? And I think that's always the part that you want to see in the NCAA tournament. It's a big stage, but your guys are experienced. They've been through it. What's going to be the key to beating Northern Kentucky?
Well, for us, is doing what we do. Defend, rebound. A big key for us this season has been the first 5 minutes of the second half. We've been really good in the first half. We come out locked in, keyed in, paying attention to the scouting report, and then sometimes as that second half starts and we come out of the locker room, the first 5 minutes or so, we kind of, I don't want to say take our foot off the pedal, but maybe relax a little bit and have allowed teams to get leads on us or cut into the lead that we created. So I think a big key will be just being focused for those 40 minutes. I mean, it's survive and advance. There's only been one 16 that's beat a 1. We're not worried about that. The rank, the number in front of us don't mean anything. It's one game, so we got to figure out how to play better than Northern Kentucky for 40 minutes and keep it up so that we can stick around here in Birmingham for another day.
Well, we certainly looking forward to seeing you at Legacy Arena tomorrow. Looking forward to being there covering the NCAA tournament. It's one of the best programs in the country. Congratulations to the strong season thus far, winning the American Athletic Conference regular season championship, and, of course, being 31-3 in the number 1 seed in the Midwest region, all well earned by Houston. Good luck to you tomorrow, Coach. Great to have you back in the state of Alabama, and thank you for taking the time to talk some Houston Cougars hoops with us tonight.
Yeah, man, really appreciate you guys having me on. Hopefully I'll see you at the game tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. That's the plan. Thank you. It's Bobby Champagne, the Director of Basketball Strategy for Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars. And he had a long career at UNA for 16 years as the head coach before coming back. And he's the Director of Basketball Ops and Basketball Strategy for the Houston Cougars. They got a big game with Northern Kentucky tomorrow. And speaking of basketball, speaking of Mark Camara, we're going to talk with him when we come back here next, here live at the Furniture Factory here on Meridian Street.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
For 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers and we invest in supporting you. We use our own technologies to automate to provide you the best support possible. And we have the strongest guarantees in the industry. I just can't tell you I'm going to provide you great support. I have to prove it to you with my actions.
This April, the Corn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2022 Huntsville Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be a part of every moment on the mountain. April 28th to May 1st. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3, 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
All right, and you all may be taking the week off, all right, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back to the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. And we wouldn't be here without this next guest, and he's live with us here at the Furniture Factory on Meridian Street. And that is the owner of this fine establishment. That's Mark Camara. He's been kind enough to join us. This is his time of year. Basketball on the TV, a lot of great TVs, a lot of great atmosphere at the Furniture Factory. Mark, it's good to see you, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Glad to have you. Since Drew, you've been around the basketball for a while. I mean, these last month and a half with all these playoffs and high school, and you do a heck of a job, man. I love listening to you and listen, your input. It's well respected. I just want to let you know.
I appreciate that, and I was proud of your son. He had a good first year at Montevallo. I know I was telling Wes he's got some good players committed. I've been kind of watching, and I had a chance to go over there, and I went over to Wallace State because I'm a junkie, and I watched Ramsey play against Tyson Sexton. I think he's going to be a really nice player. I've seen Brandon Fussell throughout his career at Guntersville, 2 really nice pieces.
Yes.
And there's some others around, too, that I think he's got a chance to get. And I think he's got a chance to have a really nice program where there's a lot of good players. And you, of course, you were such a big part of basketball in our state for so long, Mark, but the transfer portal is pushing so many good players down.
Right.
That you can sign some guys that you may have thought you had a chance at.
He's on 2 kids right now that if he can pull this wing thing through, man, I mean, and I feel like next week it's a big thing for him. He signed 4 high school guys that they're all he got a really good stud out of Pennsylvania, that a kid named Landon Butler that's off the charts. His brother is probably the best D2 player in the nation. He plays for West Liberty, who you know, and his name's Bryce Butler, and he had 35 last night against or whoever they played in there. Indiana, Pennsylvania is ranked number 1. They beat them. So, and Hal Anthony, because West Liberty recruited that kid, and so did Fairmont, and so did Nova, and all them. And Anthony, he signed to Montevallo. So he's on some really good kids. If he gets these last 2 this next week, he'll have an unbelievable recruiting class for his first year. Yeah.
So, guys, what are you looking for? How do you distinct that these guys will be, I guess, not signed by Division I, Division II players? What's the difference? You know what I'm saying? How did it seem that'd be even harder?
It's more of a gamble. Anthony coming up through Coach Acuff and Coach Schulman at UAH, they recruited a certain type of kid over there. Obviously that school's really hard at UAH, so you had the guys out there they're on that basketball floor, man. Them dudes are 4.0 students, 3.7, 3.8, most of them, and you don't have any problems like that. But going to Montevallo, it's they hired Anthony to change the culture down there because Coach Young was phenomenal there. He's a very dear friend, and he's a friend of Anthony's, and he helped him get that job, to be honest with you. But they were having problems these last 3 or 4 years of kids just dropping out of school as soon as basketball was over, and then they have to go get these other. And they hired him to try to build a mini UAH, just to be honest with you. And he's went out, and I don't think Montevallo signed a high school kid in the last 7 or 8 years. He's already signed 4. He's fixing to sign 2 more, and his 2 transfers are about to come in there that he's been pinpointed to. And if he can get these 2, Montevallo will be back on the map and be right in the thick of that league next year. So they're really, really good.
The thing about basketball, it doesn't take as long.
No.
And really, football is shortened up with the transfers now, where you can. It doesn't take but one good recruiting class with a couple of transfers that have experience to lead the team out of the doldrums.
And that's what he's going after. He's got 2 that he's really on top of, and he learned so much from Coach Acuff and Coach Schulman. Coach Schulman was so dear to him to let him. Here, Anthony, he came in here and realized he didn't need to change a whole lot. He said, here, you take this off. Anthony's really got an offensive mind, and he learned that from Coach Acuff. And Coach Schulman said, here, go with it, man. So he let him learn the oats and do all that, and he parlayed that into a job. And if Coach Schulman hadn't let him do that, he'd probably be down in Nova yesterday, just to be honest with you. And he's so grateful to both those, to Coach Acuff and Coach Schulman, that it's got him where he is today, and he's going to do some special things. He's really good. Kids love him. He's a player's coach. So.
Yeah, and I saw another one of his kids too, Wes, that same day. Scottsboro played against Ramsey, and he signed Jalen Jones, who's an outstanding
He didn't get – Jalen's going to Alabama State to
play.
He
is? Oh, that's right, football.
Yeah, he's a football wideout, and he's small. If Jalen Jones was 6 foot 6'1", he'd be at Alabama. But he's 5'7" or 5'6".
That's rough.
And it is, but he signed Brandon Fussell from Guntersville, averaged 29 a game. a point guard.
One of the best athletes Gunnell's ever had.
Yeah, Tyson Sexton from Scottsboro, who was in the state finals, had 20 in the state finals. 6'5" wing guy. Brandon Butler out of Pennsylvania, and then a kid from Thompson High School, a freaking 6'5" animal, to go get the glass. And he's got 2 more that he's about to sign, and then the 2 transfers, and that's what he's hoping to do in these next week or so.
Well, he helped get a pretty good player from Thompson before, Chaney Johnson. That turned out pretty good.
Well, Chaney was a guy that Anthony said had one offer, I think, from a Bethel or somebody like that. And he was 6'4", and he was skinny. And Anthony loved him. He said, God, look at this guy jump, And he, talked Coach Schulman and said, let's take him. And look what he saw, and now
then he grew 3 inches.
He grew 3 inches in the summer, and now he's one of the best D2 players in the nation. So it's funny how it all works out.
That always helps, growing 3 inches, right?
Yes, it did. Chaney Johnson's a fabulous kid, man. I mean, I hope UH can keep him. He's one of those transfer guys that he's had his 3 years out here with 2 left. That these big boys are going to come in there and try to get him, man. I mean, Auburn fooled around with him last year a little bit, so that he's got the potential to play D1 basketball. There's no question. If he'd like to, I say stay where you're at and be a first-team All-American, and he'll go make money right there. I promise you. So. But it's been fun this past year.
So, kind of back in the day, I understood, with 2 guys, of course. I'm drawing a blank here. Used to be a lot of guys went overseas. Is that still going on? The overseas basketball?
A ton of them go
overseas. More than before. I mean, Bobby Lee Hurt. That's who I was trying to remember. Of course, can't believe I'd ever forget his name. I'm friends with Bobby Lee. But he played 9 years over there and did a lot better than he would have done if he was in the NBA.
Well, if Bobby Lee had hands, then he'd be in the NBA. He'd have played forever in the NBA. But his hands were the problem, from what I was told.
Well, he did. They worked every day on him catching the ball, no doubt. Yeah.
So, but there's 3 kids off UH's team 3 years ago. If I'm not right, 3 or 4 years ago, they're playing over right now. So, Sam Orff's back. He's coaching now at Flagler.
That's right.
And but the little point guard and JJ, he's over there playing.
Yes.
There's several guys from UAH that were connected and get out of there. And
Seth Swab, JJ Kaplan, some of those guys, and Majette's still playing.
Yes.
Playing forever.
Smith and there's
Jamie
several
Smith,
of them. But you go out there and play, and there's Anthony had 2 guys this year. He had the leading scorer in the league. The last game he played, Braxton Bertoletti had 50 against AUM. He was national D2 National Player of the Week the last week of the season, and he's about to sign with a team in if I'm not mistaken, in Turkey, and he's going to make probably 150, 200,000 over there. Wow. He can score, man. This cat, he can score.
And others, people make more money than you think they would going overseas.
Well, sure, yeah. They pay.
And if you're only over there, or if you're over there longer than 6 months, one of the 2, you don't have to pay taxes either.
Well, Tyler Smith's probably one of the best players that ever played AAU ball for me, and everybody knows him at Tennessee. And Coach Pearl was his, he was the main guy. Tennessee's ranked number 1 in the country with him for a week, and then Vanderbilt beat him the next night. Kind of like this past year with Alabama. Somebody beat them the next night. But Tyler made a ton of money over there. I mean, a ton, and he's doing well. He's got a big farm up here in Columbia, Tennessee, and he helps coach high school ball and raising kids. So it was very good to him. And several players have played for me in the past,
So, Mark, going Alabama, trying to change subjects right now. Do you think they have a legitimate shot to win it all?
Well, sure they do. You can't get to the rim on them dudes, man. Them dudes, they alter every shot. Anything at the rim, they alter it. And it's hard. It frustrates you. If you're on that other team, man, you say, and then every time you go in there after 2 or 3 blocks, they throw stuff up, or they do it at a different angle, or they're off balance or whatever. But if they can shoot the ball decent and play that defense like they've been playing, they could win it, man. I mean, they're they're going to be. I think a real physical team gives them problems.
You're right. I've noticed that. Yeah.
But them dudes, man, you can't bring it in there on them, man. And all these kids like to fly to the rim and lay it up and do all that. You ain't doing it against Alabama now. I'm telling you. And they bring 2 or 3 off the bench that just as well as the big. Whoever the big guy is in there, I don't even know how to say. Yeah, I don't know how to say their name. You know,
Charles Bediako.
So
maybe the most improved player in the nation from year over year.
Shoot, man, they've got a heck of a chance to win it all. I think. You know, I saw something today. They got like an 18% chance on some ESPN computer. You know, so, but I got them in my Final Four. You know, for sure.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. So today, fortunate enough to have my Wesley's home with his lovely wife, and they brought their 4 kids, and then I have 2 kids, grandkids that live here. So we all called up here and knew I was going to be here, and we had dinner here.
Yes.
Rented a room. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Had 20 of my family in here, and they're running around.
There were little neighbors everywhere.
They were running everywhere.
I mean, like little colored books and all kind of stuff, man. Little old dudes and girls and guys jumping around. That was neat to see.
Well, I'll tell you how good it is. I didn't even know you were here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's anyway. Great service. Call them if you have your family. You want to get have an intimate get together, and you want to. From I think I had 18 today. From 18 to 100.
Yes.
Or more. What's the biggest party y'all have had here? Because you go next door when you get to a certain size.
I could put about 180 next door. We have we do weddings in there. We do birthday parties. We do rehearsal dinners, and we can cook anything. We can have gourmet meals. We can have chicken fingers. You know, buffets. Jen's not here. Her family's up at Dollywood this week, but she keeps that thing booked pretty good, and that's just the kind of thing
actually
we do.
who I called. I just say, hey, listen, I got this coming,
and here on the side where you were, we could put probably 80 to 100 in there, and she sets up a lot of private parties in that room. We use this back garage area. April 1st, we open up the patio out here, and Velcro Pygmies will be here, and all the villas are already booked. I mean, we've already pre-sold almost 250 tickets. You know,
unbelievable.
And people want to get out and get, in that. And then
it's coming, right?
Yeah. And Providence out there, I've got live entertainment at the Furniture Factory Providence, and the patio out there is really cool. It's next to the grill on Main, and Moe's is right down the street.
Great place on a pretty day to hang out, no question.
Oh, yeah,
all the traffic coming by, it's really.
Then our golf course is in beautiful shape. Other than on the 2nd, I dealt with the adjusters yesterday and today. 87 trees were blown down.
87?
87 on 2 holes, and it's all cleaned up more or less. It's just pushed to the side. Lightning hit number 18 green. 17 golf carts went out. Gas pumps are out. The sprinkler system's blown up. Rainbird was out there today trying to fix all that. So
you'll get that worked out.
Oh yeah, we will. But it's part of it. The golf course is the development around it. There's 300 something homes going in around it, and it's going to be a special place out there. My son Greg runs out.
I've been here. Good things hadn't made it out there yet, but absolutely.
Yeah, but it's all good, man. And I want to congratulate Coach Schulman and UH last night. No, the run they made, not necessarily last night. It just ran into a buzzsaw last night. And
that team's good.
Oh my gosh, are they good? And he's got a heck of a team coming back and all that, and we'll see. But I want to congratulate them and the UH Chargers for what they did.
Yeah, they had a heck of a run. You're no doubt, Mark, and especially since they lost with their best player, C.J. Williamson, for the majority of the season with a foot injury. Being able to reconfigure on the fly, put Dylan Harding at the 5, and be able to still win the conference in the regular season, I thought was a big time accomplishment for that group of seniors.
Big time, man, and again, that's a tribute to Coach Schulman. He knows how to adjust, defensively, offensively, and I always want to be grateful for him for what he did for my son.
Oh,
Anthony.
absolutely.
And he's started him off on his career, and Coach Acuff as well.
It's going to be fun to watch Anthony.
He's going to be really good, So, but I appreciate you guys, and thank you for being here. And Drew, it's always good to see you.
Good to see you.
I miss Steve Moulton as well. You got to say hi to him.
Steve's driving.
Oh, he's driving right now.
He's going to ride. He rides better than he drives. We don't want to drive with him.
And I'm not Jen, but Jen misses being here. I talked to her earlier today. She said to tell y'all hi. Wes, you mess with it, because you ask her about golf and then football, and a lot of times she don't know. But the best with Tom Abraham.
No question
about that.
But what she does do, she's a big part of this. And you've been in the entertainment business and the great restaurant business for such a long time. And to do that for so long, you got to have great staff.
Yeah, I do. And all these girls here, spring break. It'll be a little slower this week, but I got a great staff, and I got to get all my places. So, but it's all good,
So we got to get Jen to fill out a bracket. I've been on her. When I talked to her yesterday, hey, listen, you have to fill out a bracket.
Well, she sent me her final
Did
four.
she?
Oh, here we go.
We need her to fill out the whole bracket.
I'll get her to. You want her final four?
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to her.
She said UCLA, Miami, UConn, and Alabama.
Oh,
that's what she said.
There you go.
UCLA,
I got
Miami, UConn, and Alabama.
I've got two of those.
Yeah, I got them all close. Those 4 teams all close, no doubt.
And I had to give her one of those because she didn't know any of the other teams in there. Okay, she picked Farley. Somebody was on TV.
Well, there's one lady picked on how she liked the names one year and did a lot better than I did.
Really? Yeah, that happens a lot. So.
They went by the mascots.
But I'm going to get Jen to fill out a bracket.
Yeah, because we're going to put it against Moulton's.
Okay.
Because Moulton's historically horrible. For somebody who watches as much basketball as him, he's awful to pick a team.
It couldn't be worse than me last year. I picked Tennessee to win it all, and they lost to Michigan.
I think I did too. So, all right.
Well, good. Thank you again.
Both of you. Thank you, Mike. Always great to see you, man. We need to go on a break. We come back. Take your phone calls 256-576-4977 here at the Furniture Factory.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
There's something most of us fail to think about until something goes wrong, and that's our home's air conditioning system. Hello, friends. My name is Rick Smith.
And I'm Cooper Constant here with Environmental Comfort Systems.
Heating and air conditioning failures can be one of the most inconvenient and worrisome events in any homeowner's life.
That's why we created our Comfort Care Club. Our members receive 2 scheduled maintenance visits per year, working around your schedule and not ours.
Regularly scheduled maintenance on your home's air conditioning system helps us find small issues before they become bigger and more expensive issues.
Even if you didn't purchase your system from us, our team of well-trained technicians can service and maintain your system, and we're just a quick phone call away. Becoming a Comfort Care Club member is as simple as calling us or visiting our website.
Give us a call today. Environmental Comfort Systems, your independently owned American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. You can also visit us online at envcomfort.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. By mid-March standards, it's going to be another chilly day across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, though. That'll be nice. Temperatures, though, only climbing into the mid-50s, dropping into the mid and upper 30s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Not going to be a terrible morning, but you're definitely going to need a jacket. Looks like we'll be talking about more cloud cover through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures, though, actually back into the low and mid-60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
Welcome back to Meridian Street here at Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Wes, it was great to see Mark Camara and great to hear about Anthony Camara and his success.
Doing so well. Awesome, yeah.
You know, we got a lot of people in the coaching profession that have come through here today.
So, no question about that.
That was fun. That was fun. It sounded like your family had a lot of fun.
Oh, they did.
Back there.
They really
did.
Yeah. They don't get together much, so
no, I mean,
because you're coaching.
When you got sons that are coaching, it's tough. I mean, and then this is a year-round business, man, and you don't get much downtime.
No, you don't. And spring break, Ole Miss, and then got a couple who live here. So we had, I think we had 6 grandkids here, and two children. That's it. It was in there, but then Uncle Keith and great grandma. Yeah, it was fun. Couple of other cousins. So
I was going to ask you this too. Is Ole Miss started yet, or are they going to start after spring break?
They start after spring break. Yeah.
Okay.
But what Wesley has allowed me is how much, as the train goes by, how much the walkthroughs have helped. Because they just allow these walkthroughs, and how that's helped them prepare and put in the new system, because they're basically putting in a form of Alabama system. You know, their own version of Alabama system, so of the defensive system anyway. And then Lane, of course, runs the offense. So interesting how many FAU guys have come back with Kiffin that are back at during their championship seasons that are there on the staff.
Including Charlie Weiss Jr., who's the OC.
Charlie Weiss Jr., and then the fullback that played back in the Nicewander, who was at FAU. All those guys were at FAU and were friends with Wesley and Connor. And I think Nicewander actually lived with Connor before Wesley got there. And then when Wesley got there, Wesley was on staff when Nicewander played. And so I think Wesley lived with Nicewander when he first got to, before his family was able to move down. So it's amazing how all those guys are close. And what's really interesting to me is now Mettenberger, of course, was played at LSU, and then was last year was on Alabama's staff. And now his father-in-law is going to be on the staff. Wisenhunt, who was the head coach at the Titans when he was playing. So it's amazing all the people that come through Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I mean, and I was tipped off about Wisenhunt, about a week early that he was in the facility, and I think he even interviewed for the OC job before they decided to hire Tommy Rees. But there's also a connection with Tommy Rees and Wisenhunt. Wisenhunt hired him with the Chargers when Rees was coming up after his playing days were over, before he got the job on field at Notre Dame.
Yeah, so Wisenhunt played at Georgia Tech.
That's right.
And I actually, when I was a freshman, he was a senior at Georgia Tech when we played in Birmingham. In my first game that I started, yeah. So, interesting. I didn't even know that until I was back watching the film, and he actually was a pretty good player. There's no question about that. Played in the NFL, obviously. Good player. So.
Well, and look, he got the Cardinals to the Super Bowl. They were a play away from winning it.
Exactly,
before he was the Titans coach. So he spent a long time in the NFL. He was the offensive coordinator a couple of times with the Chargers and with the Los Angeles and San Diego Chargers. And so right now my bracket is failing miserably. Well, I mean, even though, these games don't really count, but if they did, I'd be in a load of trouble because I'd be about to be 0-3. Because unless Fairleigh Dickinson goes to sleep, this is Jen's team is beating my team 48-31. So Texas Southern getting routed right now on True TV. And later tonight we will have Arizona State and Nevada. That's an interesting coaching matchup. Bobby Hurley against Steve Alford, two All-American guards who are running their own program now.
When does Iona play?
I need to check
because
that.
I didn't pick Iona.
Yeah.
I went by the line for my first couple games and then went by instincts for the rest.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's see with Iona here. Iona, let's see. Hold on. Let's Thursday. Let's see if they play on Thursday. We're looking at the schedule here. Looks like Iona, they're going to play Friday West at 3:30 in the afternoon against those UConn Huskies. And the UConn Huskies are a 9-point favorite against Rick Pitino's Iona Gale.
Man, Iona's a dangerous team.
They are.
Rick Pitino is a dangerous coach in the tournament.
I was a lot more nervous about that game 2 years ago with Alabama in the first round against the 15-seeded Iona Gales than I'm really about this game tomorrow for Alabama. I think Alabama's going to play well, but Iona with Rick Pitino, he's seen it all. And he's beaten Alabama in the past, and now we'll see if he's going to stay at Iona or is he going to end up the new St. John's coach and move back to the Big East, back to his roots when he came to Providence with Providence. That's what's going to be fascinating there. So looking forward to see if that happens.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how I think there's going to be a lot of movement. What I can tell, a lot of in the Big East especially, right? It's going to be a whole new cast of characters with Boeheim gone and Patrick Ewing now. They gave that guy plenty of chance, right?
6 years.
Yeah, and I think they won 3 Big East games the last 2 years. It's unbelievable.
It's been brutal.
Yeah.
I love Patrick as a player, but he's an NBA guy, and it just didn't translate to the college game. Georgetown supposedly is after Ed Cooley. We'll see how that works. Ed Cooley is actually the coach at Providence. Supposedly that's getting hot and heavy. We'll see if he jumps from one Big East school to the other. He's a Providence alum, though, so he would be burning some bridges if he left them to go to Georgetown, I can tell you that.
So I was listening to the Mississippi State game, watching it on TV, actually, and listening, and I don't miss Avery Johnson. Do you miss Avery at all? I liked Avery. I thought
Avery was a great person, very engaging and entertaining, and a great interview, and very courteous. But he couldn't coach his way out of a sandbox.
Which is interesting. Why do these guys have such a hard time? I think his heart wasn't in it, really.
I think he was there for his son.
Yeah, I do too.
I
No
think he was trying
question.
to give him an opportunity, but I just don't think he understood the college game and the work you got to put in. Because let's be frank, you got to work even a lot harder than in the NBA.
No question.
It's not just ego management and getting guys minutes. You got to develop players. You got to earn their trust. I mean, you got to recruit all the time. I mean, there's just so many factors that goes on. You got to practice hard all the time, not 45-minute walkthroughs. It's not. There's a lot more coaching that goes on on the college level than there is in the NBA, Wes.
Well, yeah, no question. So, Drew, who was the guy last year with the hair at Alabama? And I hadn't even thought about him until somebody mentioned his name. I can't remember his name now. But Davidson, right?
Oh, yeah, J.D. Davidson.
J.D. Davidson. How's he doing in the NBA?
He's doing well. He was leading the G League at one point in assists.
But he's not playing in the NBA. He's in the G League.
Keon Ellis is up with the Kings, and he's been getting some playing time. But J.D. was up with the Celtics a little bit in training camp and early, but he's been with the Maine Red Claws, I think is the name of them. But that's the G League affiliate for the Celtics. He's been averaging nearly 8 assists per game at one point in time, doing well. But he's got a lot of developing to do. Got to get consistent. Got to be able to make shots consistently. The athleticism is off the charts, and the physical gifts. But the neck up and learning how to play is the key for J.D. Davis.
Yeah, but it seemed like nobody gelled last year, that team did not gel.
They remind me of Arkansas this year, and that's why I'm hesitant to pick Arkansas. I think I did pick them to win their first game, but I think Alabama, especially once JQ got injured in the first 3 minutes, but they were ready to get it over with.
They laid down that game. Yeah. That was horrible. I turned it off, yeah.
They weren't ready to play, and they didn't like playing together. You talked about this team liking each other. I don't think they had the right chemistry last year, and that's why that Alabama team lost their last 5 games, I think. It's just one of those things where they were ready to go, and they weren't ready to continue to play and compete.
I would love to know why, though. What makes that team that you thought was going to be good this last year, and I felt the same way. I thought we'd be good this year based on what we had recruited. Never thought. The difference is that team couldn't wait to get it over with, and this team looks like, to me, they're having, up until this point, the most fun I've seen a basketball team have, other than obviously the having to deal with a lot of adversity. With the shooting and the death of a person, where there were players that were there, and some that one was charged with murder. So,
well, I think that galvanized the team a little bit, but I do think also I think the trip overseas helped create a lot of camaraderie with the group, and I just think they like each other. I think Noah Gurley's leadership, getting Javon Quinterly back healthy, he's an older guy as well. They've got some guys, bringing in Dom Welch, who's a high character guy from St. Bonaventure. I just think they did a great job of mixing the young with the old. And then you've got a transcendent talent like Brandon Miller, but he doesn't play like a freshman. He's a freakazoid, and he plays the right way. He's not worried about his shots. He's not worried about the NBA. I mean, I think some of the guys last year had their eye on the next level. This group has been worried about playing for Alabama and playing well on the college level and winning. And that's what this group's been about. Yeah, for each other, exactly. No question about it.
When you watch them, that's the feeling I get.
I would completely agree, and we will be there tomorrow at the On Press Row in the BJCC for Alabama, and of course Texas A&M Corpus Christi at 1:45, and then 5:50 Auburn and Iowa. Really looking forward to that one as well. It's going to be a great day of basketball. We're going to talk to you. We're going to have Talking Ball from 7 to 9 and the Recruiting Blitz tomorrow morning, and they're going to be back at it. You guys, Wes and Steve, they will be bringing you the drive tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to having Steve back in the saddle. I appreciate him for letting me come out here to the Furniture Factory. It's been great. It was great to hear from Bobby Champagne, the Houston Cougars. Great to hear from Corey Reamer, talk some Alabama football, and the great Mark Camara and what Anthony Camara is doing and updating us on what's going on. And your family had a lot of fun here.
Oh, yeah. Recommend it. Give Jen a call if you want any event, whether it be 10 people or 300. They do a great job.
They do. Have fun, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning on 97.7 The Zone.